So obviously, I'm trying something different this weekend. Earlier I posted some videos on how I maintain my sourdough starter. And then yesterday we went shopping and I picked up a pork shoulder, a pretty nice one. And I thought I would cook that today, slow cook that today. And since I'm in the mood to make videos, I figure I'll see how this works out. I'll show you what I do. It might not be what everybody else does. It might not be the best in the world, but so far my family loves it. And when they eat it, they enjoy it. And I've never had any complaints. So I'm going to show you how I prepare it and what I do with it. And then we'll check in again this evening after it's done, because it takes like 10 hours or something to cook. And we'll see how that goes. So I've never really had a recipe. The very first time I looked it up, I kind of used some directions. But after that, I just kind of used what I had. I get the seasoning rub, and I mix that in the bowl. And then I just start throwing in spices of different things that I know I like. I'll put some liquid smoke in there. This stuff is really good. It's got this smoky, here, smell it. Oh yeah. It's got this smoky, how many of you have nose prints on your monitor now? It is really, really good. So I just kind of mix this stuff around in this bowl, or in a bowl. Let me see. Can you see that? Yeah, it looks like you can see that. It smells so good. It's just all the different spices and things that I'm going to mix into my pork. I'll move you so you're a little closer to see what I've got going on, but that's basically the stuff that I start with. Okay, I've got you moved around. You really ought to see this setup. I've got the camera on a plate, on a box, on a bucket, and I got the camera sitting, or the laptop sitting up high, so that as I look and see if I'm in the frame or what's going on, I can see you. So this is all new to me. Maybe I'll get better at this. I don't know. I start out with one of these. It's just a shallow little pan that's 3 inches shallow, 9 by 9 or something like that. And I'm going to take this big old thing, dump them in there. He's looking good. I usually have a paper towel. Remember? I talked about that earlier. Paper towel. I'm going to put some liquid smoke on him. I don't need a lot of this. This is 3 3/4 pounds of pork shoulder. It was originally 10 pounds, and we cut it into 3 pieces. So I'll pour some smoke and kind of smear it around. This does a couple of things for me. It obviously adds the little smoky flavor to it. It also helps the rub kind of stick to it, or all the spices, I guess, whatever you want to call it. Not sure why it's called a rub, other than now that it's called a rub, I tend to rub it in. All right. So we'll call that good for now. Get all that stuff out of the way. Can you guys see that okay? Yeah? That's my controls. So then I'll just kind of sprinkle it around on this. Kind of press it into it a little bit, because for the amount of rub that gets put on it, it never really seems like, you don't taste it a lot. I don't know if that's just the way I'm doing it, or if that's just kind of the way this whole process works. But maybe I would have been better off to coat this all in the lube when it was on a plate. Can't remember. It's actually been a long time since I've done one of these, so that's part of why we're looking forward to it. We'll call that good enough. And see, pretty simple. I'll pause this and nope, I guess, yep, I'm going to pause this and I'll be back in a moment. So I think this is done. I think this is ready. I'm going to grab some foil. Cover it up. And now it's ready to go. I'm going to go and put it in the cooker and we'll see how that goes. I gotta move you. I gotta move you out to where the cooker is and show you what I got going on there. And that's gonna take a little bit, so I'll see you in a few. Okay, so I got you set up outside. This is a cooker. This is the easy part. Open the cooker, set it down in there, close it, and it's set for a really low temperature. Right now it looks like it's running at 175 degrees. It's going to stay that way for quite some time, probably 10 or 12 hours, and it's just at this real low temperature. And after it's been out in there for 10 hours or so, I'll check on it. So this cooker was one of my in-laws, or was my in-laws, and they didn't need it anymore. It's just an electric. You could do anything that can maintain a low temperature. This one will bounce around between the 150 and the 200. I'll have my thermometer in there. I'll put a candy thermometer in there, and I'll have another thermometer that I'll just kind of watch it throughout the day. I've got a log sheet, so I'll know what time I put it in. I'll know what time I take it out. I don't know. I just do that. It's just kind of the data guy in me, maybe. But there's not going to be much. It's just going to sit there looking like that for the next 8 to 10 hours, 12 hours, something like that. So I'll check in on it periodically. Okay, it's been 6 hours since we put this in. Let's find out what the temperature is. The thing says it's 150. There's a candy thermometer in here that says 190. Ooh, and it's hot, hot, hot. Let's find out what the meat temperature is. What's pork supposed to be? 160, 190, 180? I don't know. It's 180 so far. It's getting up there. It's almost 190. 195. So it's 195 there. Oh, it's really tender in there. That piece is 205. So I think it's good to go. So I'll get this out of here. And then the camera can follow me.
Don't you need pot holders?
I might need pot holders. You coming in with me? Did you run into something on the way in? What? Alright, let's see what this looks like. This has been sitting out there. I've checked the temperature a few times throughout the day. Let me turn the television off. Okay, so I started at 1300 or 1 p.m. and then we just pulled it out of there at 7:30, and it went from 175, 180, 190, and then you just heard that it was 200. So this should be good, ready to go. Let's open her up. Oh, look at that. Sitting there in her own juices. So see if I can get her out. She's, oh, it's gonna fall apart on me. I have cooked these things longer before, and I had a lot of trouble getting them out because they'll just literally fall apart as they're coming out. So anyhow, let's see what it looks like. Oh, look at that. Just falls apart. So I'll continue to break this all apart, and then I'll bring you guys back once we've got a pile of this stuff all ready to eat, and we'll be putting it away. We'll have some tomorrow. See you in a little bit. All right, that took 15 minutes, 20 minutes of pulling it. I got all this pork out of it. It's a pretty good looking stuff. Looks like it smells good, cooked pretty well. Got a lot more fat out of it than I would have expected to have gotten. As you're kind of pulling it apart, you can kind of feel the fat. This part of this was the cap, like this part that I knew would be there. And this was a really marbled, if you remember the picture, it was a really marbled piece of meat. So that worked out pretty well. And we've got all this juice that was left over. And what I normally do is I take a bunch of that juice and I don't know if I should mix it up or not. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And I'll just kind of pour it around on it. Keep it a little bit moist, because this juice has got, aside from a lot of fat in it, a lot of flavor from the rub that I put on it, and just the flavor that came out of the meat. So anyhow, that's pretty much what I do with it. It works out really well. Very good. We will put that in sandwiches with barbecue sauce. We'll make pork tacos out of it. Sometimes I will heat up the frying pan pretty hot and grill it to give it a little bit of a char and a little bit of crispy, and we'll make tacos out of it. Just about any way you would want to eat the shredded pork, we'll eat it. But typically, it's going to be in sandwiches and tacos. I can't think of any other way that we do, or any other thing that we do with it. But it's pretty awesome. I didn't weigh it. Let's see how much we get. I don't know how much the container weighs. So including the container, it's 900 grams. Does that help you? 1 and 2 pounds, essentially 2 pounds out of it. So 60%, 62% recovery, 67% recovery of the product. That's not too bad, I guess. I don't know. Makes it for pretty expensive stuff, but anyhow, I don't think that's the best way to do it. I don't know if it's the worst way to do it. Well, I'm pretty sure it's not the worst way to do it. I'm pretty sure it's not the best way to do it, but it's a way that I can do it in the afternoon, and it works real well for us, and we enjoy it a lot. So anyhow, take it, leave it, do it yourself. Just got to cook it. Just dawned on me that I left the cooker sitting outside on, and I think I'll sign off now and go turn that off so we're not heating the whole neighborhood. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.